Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Today is a good day. I am back. Sadly, we've had to take some budget cuts because I haven't been recording shit. Another news thing is playing since I don't have an editor. But I am here. After shitting myself and throwing up for the last couple of days, I am recording another video. Now, I can no longer air pictures on my screen, so I will simply talk about the number 7th movie today. Drumroll. Captain Marvel. Yes, not a surprise to most people, because arguably it is one of the middest films. Sorry about that, I was saying film, so I only get 52 seconds anyway. Here's what I'm going to say. I will talk about the negatives right now. The number one negative I find in this film is Brie Larson's performance as Captain Marvel. Say what you want, but in the comics, I much prefer her depiction than what the MCU timeline has done. Because you have all these girl power and like kind of woke scenes that take away from Captain Marvel, when she's not really like that. She's a strong, independent woman in the comics that, you know, kids can get behind or like want to become. Here, I feel it's too forced. And it's the same thing with Endgame, which we'll get on eventually down the list. However, we're not going to get close to that now because it's definitely not a shitbox like this one. Captain Marvel, or just Brie Larson in general, does not work in this film because she's just dull, uninspiring, and boring. She brings nothing new to the table, and I feel like it's the weakest portrayal I've seen so far. Another main takeaway I got from watching this movie is that the script is completely fucking boring. I mean, sure, I could talk about Brie Larson's performance. However, the script doesn't really favor her in many regards. In all honesty, like deadass, Marvel has been doing the same shit for like a while. They kind of run this, kid-friendly thing, add in jokes, people fucking start laughing, then you have the big bad at the end, or like the main fucking group, and it's just kind of gotten overused at this point. I feel like every time I watch something in this magnitude, it's just the same shit. It's kind of faded for me in my existence. So that's why it doesn't favor some of the characters. Now, there are a couple performances that kind of save it. Nick Fury, who's played by Samuel L. Jackson, which everyone right now. Sorry about that, walls are thin. But it happens all the time. The guy next to me, where my bed is right there, he has his PC setup, talks with his friend every night. They're fucking sweet to each other, man. Wishing you the best to whoever the fuck you are, man. Really nice guy. Anyway, I was talking about Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson in this movie is great. He's a good buddy cop that gets enough screen time, and you really care for him in this movie, even though you already care for him as Nick Fury. What is it? Because it's just, Carol Danvers is just this this space kind of agent, or the space cop, and Samuel L. Jackson, who's just this cop in general, just solving and trying to find scrolls, which is another thing. The main scroll in this movie, who's played by Ben Mendelsohn. I don't watch many Ben Mendelsohn movies, but he really does carry this film. The whole idea behind scrolls is actually brilliant. I don't feel like people mention them enough. Yeah, I didn't expect to like the scrolls this much within the film. I mean, I'm gonna be dead ass. I had no expectations going into this, but I've never read anything about the scrolls. Didn't know that much, but they came in here and they were this ever-present kind of danger. They were this hidden figure in society that could make a move at any point, and that's kind of what Ben Mendelsohn kind of represented. He was this leader, this scroll leader, that you could actually feel as a danger. You actually understood them because you know what they meant. They could sneak up behind you at any point and run your shit. That's what I just felt throughout this movie. I have to introduce the negative when I talk about positive. One thing I didn't like is the nostalgia. They just junked in nostalgia for no reason. Like, they would always do these gags or winks to nostalgia. They have to play so much on nostalgia that they can't really uncover the main thing, which is the backstory, because they're so focused on Blockbuster for some fucking reason that they're like, everybody, look, it's Blockbuster. Everybody's like cool and shit, but nobody really cares because Blockbuster's closed. What are you supposed to do? I have several unreturned DVDs I'm never gonna give back to them. They're just fucking there, just for a nostalgia dump. But instead, you could be covering something out of Carol Danvers' past, but you don't. And you have all these like lazy moments or just uninteresting things. Like this girl best friend that I never really gave a shit about. Her name was like Maria something. I felt like whenever it got to this like scene with her and her friend, it was just so fucking dull and boring. And another thing about this movie is they play so much on wokeness. I'm not gonna get on this, but it's so present here. I mean, I just think, like, what is it? It's not a great thing to have in a film. It dilutes the message. It dilutes the theme. You kind of get lost in this political fucking mindset. It just doesn't work. That's why I don't enjoy talking about, like, this political shit in my, like, movie reviews. One thing I will say, another reviewer mentioned this perfectly. For female characters to be strong whatsoever in this movie, they lose their character in general. Like, what is it? They put up this invisible wall, and now there's this just strong woman, but they have no personality whatsoever. And Marvel does this a lot because they don't really know how to handle some people. They do this with She-Hulk sometimes. They do this with fucking other characters like Valkyrie. Not sure why. They just do it because they can. Legit, I don't understand it. It's just something that directors don't know what to do. DC directors actually did it perfectly with Wonder Woman, which is the next segment I'm about to. And actually, this is a point that was brought up by another reviewer. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. Jeremy Johns mentioned this. Wonder Woman does legitimately what Captain Marvel does, but it makes you relate to her more because there's none of this like feminism, like political shit. Instead, it's just based off her actions. She's a good person, and you can actually get behind Wonder Woman's actions and understand, who she is as a person. But with Carol Danvers, she does all these fucking like strong activities. She's a gladiator. She's a political enforcer. She's like a police officer, and she like does all this cool shit. But you're like, you don't really feel anything with her. There's no fucking emotional connection. She's there to be there as a main lead, not there to really inspire or motivate you as a character. So you can't get behind her message more than you would with another DC character. At the end of the day, I will say this. I looked at this movie fairly. I tried to, give it some pointers. There's definitely some things that it did better than what I expected. However, at the end of the day, when I'm ranking this movie, I wouldn't recommend this to all users. I mean, if you want like kind of a girl power movie, if you just want to watch something in the back, if you just want to watch some cool villains, go for it. There's some great visuals here, music choices are good, but most Marvel movies have good music choices. I mean, I don't even mention it much in my reviews. At the end of the day, it's up to you guys' opinion. You guys can watch it. My overall ranking for this movie is just mid. I think that's how it is. Wouldn't watch it again, but you can. And that's all the time we have for today. So goodbye.